Anyway, so let me share again the screen. This is a very good company to follow, but this is not the only one. There's a lot of them. There's another one to follow. How about you, Brenda? Why don't you follow the airlines? This is a very good timing to follow airlines, Brenda. Look at United. Look at their financial statement. They probably lost a lot of money in the last couple of years. UAL. Let's see if we have UAL. It's okay. This is really not a waste of time. Don't worry about machine learning. We will catch up on everything. This is more important, really, to start generating money for Academy City, for yourself, really. I can't wait for those guys to close the deal coming to Israel. If they come to Israel, then we'll make it a way that you can focus only on making the real money. I don't know if this company we have it or not. Yeah, we do. It's in the list, but we don't have the data for it. Okay? Why don't you pull the data for this company, Brenda? Yeah, why it doesn't like
I'll
me?
pull it personally, doctor.
Write it down for yourself. I want you to follow it down.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
UAL, write it down. Now study the industry. UAL is United Airlines, is a big airline in the, by the way, United located in Chicago or Atlanta. I always forget. I think Atlanta. I forgot which. American Airline is also a big company. Okay? AAL, another one. Pull the data for them as well. Okay? This is why we did all of that stuff. Let's see if they, I think we should have them in there. I don't think they're in the, I'm not sure they are in the S&P 500. They are not big enough to be in the S&P. Yeah, we do have American Airlines. It's let's see which industry it's giving me. And let's see if the S&P, I'm going to open up more than just the S&P. This program will grow and grow over time. I just want to get to the point you start making money for Academy City of Uganda and be independent. So your job will be morning to evening, study and work in Academy City. This is really let's see which industry is that, 4, 5, 12. I don't think, maybe, I don't know. I don't think it's big enough, those companies. Maybe they do. Yeah, they do. You have other, Southwest is also a big company. All of those, Delta. You see, Brenda?
Yes, doctor.
Alaska Air Group. Follow all those ones. They really are all very important companies. LUV, let me see LUV. Probably their shares will look the same. Look at them, they all went up yesterday. Those guys went up. You see, same things. Went up, went down, they're going to go up again. See how nervous they got here, people?
Yes.
See that?
Doctor, the numbers in red, are they the people that are trading?
What?
The numbers in red.
Hold a second. What did you say, the number in red?
Are they the people that do trade?
This is the volume, you see? People are very nervous about this.
The red
How
button.
much traffic since the COVID have started? You see that? On the right side, all this place. Here, there was
Yes.
people buying, selling. It was really low volume and boom, people so nervous here. You got it? Now, you have those, please do follow, get all of them. Even today, Brenda, this is really worth to follow. Because tomorrow we might be able to see they have options tomorrow, expiring tomorrow. I don't know, we'll take a risk. What the heck, we'll get it. There is one tomorrow expire tomorrow. Maybe we'll do some trading tomorrow on one of them. Will be very interesting. Or maybe we'll go, we might be one, we kind of take a risk for one day and we might take for a month. This one is next month. So we have a month to see what's happening. I most likely might even go on, just go an option, at least one, just get experience. Even if we lose money, so what? But you get, when you put money, you always check it. Is that right, Brenda?
Yes.
When you have money in your pocket, you always check if somebody didn't steal it. If you don't have any money in your pocket, you never open your pocket. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you start with, would invest, let's say, one option on AAL or one of those. Then you'll follow it every day. Am I right? Or did it go up? Did it go down? Read articles about it. Okay? And
Yes,
that's the
doc.
way I want you guys to. So you take the airline. I think airline is very sensitive, and option is designed for that. See, the stock prices of options is taking it already into account. If the stock is crazy, the options are more expensive. But one thing those options pricing don't take into account, and that's what we want to take advantage of it. See, it's this jumping. See, that was a big jump. There was a big jump here. You got it?
Yes.
I'm looking for companies that have these kind of crazy things. Even if everything was flat and had one jump, is the best company. If we look at companies that had that kind of behavior. See, this one is 5. So there's a big jump here, big jump here. Airline should be a good jumping one. Any bad news will throw it to the ground. It could be dangerous. But any good news will jump it to the sky, and we just need that one jump and get out. You got it?
Yes.
And this one is a good one. It's a good candidate. And you can tell a lot of nervous around the jumps, a lot of here. People didn't know what's going to happen. They thought it's going to go up again. Again here, you have a big jump down, here. People nervous. You got it?
Yes.
It's really amazing when you follow the up and you study, but you need to know the industry very well. By the way, this is one of the reasons it went up, because the oil prices went down a little bit. If the oil prices will start going down, airline making more money because they're using fuel. It's one of the biggest expenses. So you have to know really about oil prices. Look at what happened to the oil. Oil prices went up. Since yesterday? No, just today. Yesterday was 110. You see that? So you have to follow a lot of stuff. But so, Brenda, you will follow this one, okay? Go to the Academy City, go to the list, and get the data about all those 5. We'll follow all of them. Let's see the LUV. Let's see LUV. This is Tesla. Let's go LUV. Most likely the same. All of them the same. This one went a little less. See that? Same
Yeah.
thing. But it also has jumping. See that? Most likely, if you look at the maximum, same things. Oh, this one is interesting. You see that?
Yes.
Then you go into 2012. Let's look at for the last 5 years. That's probably the COVID. You see that? That's the period of the COVID. They went up. People thought they're going out of the COVID. Now this is the war collapse because the oil prices went crazy. Yesterday there was the saying that it's not going to affect the oil prices much, but I see the oil went up. So we might see it's going down today a little bit. But this is quite low. So we're going to buy, maybe we'll buy 1 stock or 5 stock. 5 stock, it's nothing. It's $200. So maybe we'll buy 5 of them, or maybe one of each one of those companies. So you follow all of them and see what happened. You got it?
Yes,
And
doc.
we'll buy option. Option is more risky, very risky. If we think in the next month it's going to go up and it didn't go up, we lost all the money. You got it? So option is a little more riskier. I believe it's going to go up. The other things to do is maybe the options, we don't buy one that's going to end up in April. Maybe we're going to June. But June will be much more expensive. See, if I buy it at $330 for one option. And the price now, you know, in order for me to start making money, it has to go above 42 and a half. I make money only if it goes above 42 and a half. So the price has to go above 42 and a half within until June. And I start making money. So how much I need it to go up? I need it to go up to get my money back. It has to go at least to 4,500, 45. Only above 45, I'm making money. So do I think it's going to go up above 45? I believe so. And how do I think? I need to really look at the chart. Let's look at the chart for the last month. Last month, March 4th, it was 42, no, 45. That's a little scary. February, when was last time it was 46, 47. So the month of February, 47 was normal. So that's a risk we're taking. So we'll get back to the price of February. Do we think until June, there will be a period? It's enough for us even one day that it will go up to 47. We make money. You got it?
Yes.
We get our money back and we make some money, depending on how many stocks we get, how many options we get. If we get only one, then we'll make about $250. So we take a risk of $330 to make $250. But most likely we will make it. You got it?
Yes.
And if you really want to get a better picture of what happening in the last, see, if you look at October last year, it was 54. So this company has a high probability within until June, we have 3 months. They will go back. In October to today, it's about 3 months. Is that right? No, it's a little more. So if you look at here, November to today, how much? 4 months. Until June, how long do we have? June. So it's about, we are in March now. Until June what? June.
About 2 months.
How many months do we have? Until June 17, March, April, May, June, 3 months. So in 3 months, we'll go back to 47? Could be. But we will wait. Maybe we'll go down today. But if it go down today, even the coal price will be cheaper as well. So we'll see what happened today when it started. Let's go in other companies. You have another list here. Going to Alaska. South Airline, LUV. Let's go another one. Alaska. I don't really know this one, by the way. Alaska Air Group. ALK. By the way, this is really what we should do eventually. All the rest we shouldn't be. Here we go. That didn't change much. But it's interesting to see what happened with this one. Very similar chart. You see that?
Yeah.
Very, very similar. All of them really almost a copy of each other. Alaska, here we go. The COVID up in April last year. They thought the COVID is over. Then they collapsed in November. Then they thought they're coming out. And then so in January, then the war started. They collapsed because the oil prices went up. And now they're going back a little bit. Okay, this is a good candidate as well. So their prices here is 69. 69 for a while. That's really probably what the price should be. 69, that's really, but I don't really know. This company will need to check their financial statements and see how good they'll do. So why don't you do that today for those companies? And then
Okay.
we'll follow them up as well. Okay, now let's go back to, now that we talked for so much, let's go finally to the machine learning. How are you doing, Daniel? Let me go to open a new one. I have the machine learning. Where did I put the machine learning? Here? Yeah, I think so. Let's open up in a new window. Here we go. This is the one we did last time, isn't it?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, now, Daniel, this is what you need to talk right in the course you're developing. Let's run it again. And we got, here we go. We got Panda, NumPy. I will just do a little bit today, okay? But you, Daniel, will catch up a lot with the statistics. Tell Michael he didn't really lose much, but I think whatever we talked today, it was very important. I wish I recorded it. But I think I'm recording now. Am I?
You're recording.
Yeah. Okay. So we have NumPy, we have Panda, NumPy, and statistics is another package that somebody have written. But I want you to understand what the statistics we use. So we just made an example of a series. Panda, a series. Panda is made of series. So here is a list. It looks like a list in Python. Is that right?
Yeah.
And you have to transfer a list, and that turns to a series as an object of NumPy. And Panda, of Panda. And Panda take that series and make it as a column. So this is really what we see here when we're printing it. The default, by the way, although it looks like it's saying 86, it really is as a type, is a float. Float, it means it has a decimal point. That's why when you see the numbers 1, 3, you see a decimal point. Although I put a whole number,
Yes.
it shows a decimal. That's the default, unless I give it a type. A type, and then according to the type, it will treat it as integer if I want. Okay, so I pointed S, and that's really like the series. Okay, then we have a range. We have dead. This is another very important, the dead range. It's a function of Panda. And then I give him a dead and I tell him how many periods do I want him to make. Here I'm telling him only 6. So he's starting for 2013, 0101. So that's what he does. 2013 is automatically creating a date time index. You will see we'll use it in a table. So this is really a special feature. By the way, this is really nothing special. Sometimes you look at it, people think, wow, people that wrote Panda is such a big deal. You can create all of those by yourself. But it's nice that somebody else already have done it. So you just use it instead of you developing everything. Okay? It's like when we're doing this one, we're already developing this one for other people. Okay? Everybody can develop it. Not everybody has the ideas how to do it. So not everybody can really develop it, but eventually we didn't really develop a new language, we just develop a tool. Some things about Panda. Panda is written in Python. Panda, in the end of the day, is Python. So the whole objects PD, the Panda is really a library. It's an object that somebody wrote in Python. How do you know that I'm right? If I do Control B, here we go. It takes you to where a person have developed. This is the code of Panda. It's Python. See that? That's the beauty of the whole thing. So this is a Python. So Python is really, Panda is really just a library. NumPy is the same things. Statistics is the same things. By the way, when you go, okay, random is a function in NumPy. NumPy is really the statistic stuff, the number stuff. Over time, you get to know what you can do in NumPy and what you can do in Panda. Panda is very important also for software engineering. This is something that I think you should know very well, Daniel. And Michael should know NumPy very well. You should know too. The three of you should know eventually everything. But you probably most likely will use Panda more than NumPy for software engineering. For machine learning, you use NumPy a lot. Statistics is definitely machine learning. It's another package. Okay. By the way, we could have used that one as well, ST. We can write it as ST, and then we don't have to use the word statistics. What did I use statistics here now?
Down.
I think down there, Control F. Let me find it. Here we go. So I can use only ST. You got it? Then let's see if I have another place. Yeah, here we got you. So the same things. I just wanted to show you that it's NumPy, Panda, statistics is all packages of Python. They're all written in Python. Okay, this is I'm building up. It's really a table. You can think about Panda as a smart table. And people added a lot of stuff to it. That's the beauty of it. And so here I'm making another series of dates. It's a special function of Panda to make dates. Now, if you notice, I asked for 6 periods because here I have 6 numbers. See that? I'm going to combine them later on. Here, later on, I'm asking NumPy. This is the NumPy. NumPy library has a function called random. In fact, it's not a function. This is an object called random. And the random has a function called randn for normal distribution. And it takes 2 variables. I can give him 2 variables. The truth of the matter, maybe it takes more. If you really want to know, you can just try that. That's what I do many times. Because many times I forget. And then it will, if it's nice to you, now give me DN. It probably will take even more. That would be really cool if you want to really see it. Do you want to see it really? By the way, let's play with it. It's give me 6 rows, 4 columns. It can give me probably more than that. That's a multi-dimensional cube. Let's make just for fun 5, and let's print it. Let's see what happens. That's for machine learning. It's very important. TensorFlow uses it a lot. Let's run it. It didn't like me. No, it does. It does like me. See that? It's just later on when we combine it. See what it did now. It's pretty cool. This is hard. This is for you, Daniel, since you don't have the background in mathematics. I don't know if you know matrices, but Brenda. But NumPy, it's a very powerful library because it doesn't deal with only table. It can deal with even a cube. Here I made a cube of 3 dimensions. This is 1 dimension, 6 on 4 on 5. And how do you know that? Look at that. You have 6. How many do I have? No, I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 4. It goes backward. I have the 5. That's the 5. But how many of those I have? 4. So you got it? I have 4. So 4 times 5. How many of those I will have? 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It becomes to be a cube. This is the way you present a cube. But that's for the future. We'll talk about it in the future. That's the beauty of NumPy. And we'll use it a hell of a lot. So let's run it again. And now, by the way, when you run it, see, all what I'm asking him, it's 6 by 4. 6 by 4, it will organize it as 1, the first dimension. By the way, the truth of the matter, let's put this one back. Put that one back. Put that one back, 5. It's really about dimensions. So I have 3 dimensions in here. See, the first dimension, it's This is the first dimension. Why do I have that? No. What did I do? 6 by 4 by 5. Yeah, this is it. What happened? Why it doesn't like me? I just got two small numbers. I got me confused. You give me very small numbers. Now, anyway, this is really like I have 5 numbers on 4, but this is the first dimension. Everyone, this is first dimension. In the first dimension, I have like a plot. You can think about it as an Excel. Each Excel will be a dimension. That's the first dimension. The second dimension, it really is the columns in the table, and then the rows will be the third dimension. But that's what we'll play with it a lot when we get there. For now, all what we care is getting 2 dimensions. This is like a table in 2 dimensions. Okay? Fair enough?
Yeah.
NumPy is very, so this is really the library. It has an object called random, and it can generate normal distribution. I believe uniform probably would be with a U. I never remember that. Now it has integers, and int. Let's put int. I don't know. It will give me integers there. Let's run it. Here we go. No, it didn't like me. Why it didn't like me? Yeah. Not this one. Let's put it back. But I'm not going to go over all of those. But let's see. Let's remember here. We'll get it. Hold a second. That. Here we go. You have random n, random integer, low, high. You have to change the parameters and the size. Permutation, we'll talk about it a lot. You have just rand. You have Bayride distribution, binomial. You can pull data from binomial distribution and big generator, a lot of those kind of stuff, choice, default. There's a gamma distribution. I don't know if you learned gamma distribution is a very important distribution in statistics. A beta distribution is very important. Exponential distribution. All of those are very important in beta. It's very important. Okay, a lot of those are statistics. We'll get there. Okay, power distribution, and then you have random. So for now, we just use the random normal. This is the normal distribution. Okay, so we're putting data, and this is what we did so far. Then we just kind of took a step. In fact, the truth of the matter, let me do the following. We just were playing. So this was really just the beginning. And then we were playing with these guys. Is that right? We made a function, st. This is not a good name now because we used the st for here. So let's call it st underscore, okay? Just for, because I used the st somewhere else. Let's look at the st, let's put it here, okay? So we don't get an error. Let's run it and let's follow. Okay, those ones we were just playing with that, but here we got to here. So maybe, you know what, even let me take those ones away. Let's take all of those away. So focus only on this one. Okay, we have a list. We got a list here, and then we got a function, and that function is doing some stuff, and then we getting the result VNS, and then we're printing the VNS. Is that right? Correct? When we calling the function, this is Python. Python, you know. Correct, Daniel?
Yes,
We made a function, and we're calling the function. We're transferring a list. Okay? So when we're calling the function, by the way, this is LL. The function accepts L. And when we're calling it, When we're calling this, we're transferring LL. But just for the organization, just for us for now, let's take it out and put it here. So we define the function up. Let's put it here. Okay? And we're calling the function. Is that right? Okay? We can print this one here, in fact, print LL. And let's call it here just for. Do it, play with it a lot, Daniel. Okay? Play a lot with those kind of things. This is good stuff for you. Feel comfortable and then eventually be smart and jump to objects. And I will help you out. This is a good opportunity also to enhance your level. So I'm putting it before even I'm calling the function. I'm transferring to the function LL. Is that right? The function, so this is before I'm even calling the function. After I print it, I'm calling the function. Then inside, I'm really using the library ST. There is a library ST, and I'm calculating the standard deviation. Okay, so this number 4 point whatever, it's probably the standard deviation. So why don't we do that? Let's call that one ST, and it will give us ST. So we know the standard deviation is between those two lines. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Then he's going to calculate the mean. Is that right? So we want to print the mean also. Let's put a mean here. So we identify. Fair enough? Then he printed the L here. And let's print. Why do I do that? Let's print that one here. Let's take it away. Okay? Let's do it here. This is how you can play. This is for you, Daniel, for you guys. Just for and multiply it by 20. So you know this is really inside the function. Basically, it's going to print the same things as we're printing before. We're calling the function. Am I right? We're printing it here. And then when we call the function, he knows it is an L, one L. He's going to print it again. Fair enough? Then we're going to calculate the standard deviation and print it. So we're printing standard STDV is the standard deviation, is printing it up. And then we're doing it, the mean, we calculate the mean, and we got the mean here. Then we start calculating, we're doing the difference between, let's just print that one and we'll continue later on, just to get the feeling of what we're getting here, okay? So first things, we're printing the LL, is that right?
Yeah.
So we got the LL, that's pretty cool. We don't really need it anymore, is that right? Then remove it. Is that right? That's the way I usually work when I write a code, because it's going to be printed inside. So let's run it again. So I got to read off the first one. Why it doesn't like me? Div. Yeah, this is coming later on. I don't really care about this one. Okay, they all. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really care about this one. Let's call. Let's do return. Maybe we'll do it. I don't know if it will. It doesn't know it. It's not a function. No, it doesn't like it. Yeah, I know that. Okay, let's run it anyway. So we don't really care about that error. Here we go. Okay, so we got the LL. It's inside the function now. Is that right?
Yeah.
So we know the function is doing good. We're getting the data. Fair enough? Okay, then next, we're calculating the standard deviations, 2.855. In fact, we try to duplicate the result. Somebody already have done it in the library. We're making our own, kind of. Is that right?
Yeah.
So then we calculating the mean. We got the mean. So the mean is Here we go, we have an M. Let's do an M here as well. Let's run it again. Okay, so we got the mean. That's why I like to define that. Okay, so we got the mean. So far, so good.
Yes.
So later on, we develop L underscore. We're making a new list. And what we're doing in the list, we're basically going over the whole items, all the items in the original list, every item in the original list. This is a for loop in Python. Is that right?
Yes.
So for every k in L, we're taking k minus the mean. And we're appending it to the new list. So when we're printing this one, is that right? Let's do times 20. Times 20. This is excellent exercise for you. And this is the way you want to teach statistics. You teach mean, you teach variance, and you demonstrate in Python, because people, they're going to take our classes in statistics, they cannot take it unless they take computer science. You get it?
Yes.
We don't want to teach stupid people. We don't really want stupid people. We really don't. Okay, so now you took the difference. Is that right?
Yeah.
So now you have a new array, L underscore, which is really the original one. You subtract the mean. Now I told you when you subtract the mean from every item and you took the mean of the new, you should get a 0. This should give you 0. Is that right? Let's play with it a little bit. You know, if I change everything to be 5, what will be the mean? 5, is that right?
Yeah.
If I subtract from each one of them 5, what will happen? Each one of them will be 0. Is that right? If I sum it up,
Yes.
you get 0. Right? Let's see. Right? Here we go. You see? We got the mean to be 5. We subtract from each one of them 5. We got 0. Now think about it. Let's make this one 7 and make this one 4. What's going to be now the mean? 5 again. Is that right?
Yes.
No, this one I need to have 6. Sorry, my mistake. I increased one of them by 1, and I reduced one by 1, and one I added 1. So what the average becomes to be 5 again. Am I right?
Yeah.
Has to be 5. Now what happens if I subtract from each one of them 5? This one going to be 1, and this one going to be minus 1 in the new list. Let's run it. And let's look at the whole things. That's pretty cool. We have 5, 6, 4, 5, 5. What is the mean? 5. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now when we're subtracting 5 from each one of them, the 6 will becomes to be 1, and the 4 becomes to be minus 1.
Yeah.
When you add them up, it will be 0 again. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So as long as you subtract the mean, already this is the meaning of it. Let's take this one to be 1, and this one will be 9. Again, I didn't change the mean. Let's run it again. That's what you should do, and then get the feeling why this is correct. See again, I made sure that the average would be 5 again. So when I subtracting the average, what happened? So this one went 1 above the average. This one above, under the average. This was 4 below the average and 4 above the average. So when you add them up, it has to be 0. So if you take a list, you take the average and you subtract the average from it, becomes to be in a new list with, if you take its own average, it will be always 0. That's very important things. Okay? Play with it a lot. Okay?
Yes.
It's always true. When you have a list, you subtract from it the mean, you will always get a new list. Okay? Now, let's continue. Okay? But let's play with it so we get a, it doesn't matter, we can keep a mean to be 0, 5, doesn't make a difference. Then, what else do we got? So this was really a finding to show. So let's see, let's write here, print, and you write new m. Fair enough? And that should be 0. So far, so good. No mean, 0. Good? You can do it like that if you want. That would be better. That's what I usually do. Okay? That's pretty cool. Okay, now that we have the new mean, what do we have next? This was the lambda function. That was a little hard. What lambda function? This is here another thing. You already need to know lambda function. It's very powerful. And also the function map. Map is a function of Python. Don't forget. Okay? By the way, you really should read. What is that? Oh, wow. Good. This is my nephew. He's in the army. Why he finishes, very good. Beautiful. He finishes hard course in the army. Beautiful, very proud of him. Okay, if you go into here, you do Python list map function. Just look at it. This is really good reading. You have a map function, an iterator, but I wanted it for a list. A list I think also has, doesn't it have a list? Yeah, no, it does it this way. I didn't want to, I thought that it's embedded in the list, doesn't it? List function with examples. Let's see that. Here we go. Map function iterator. Yeah, I wanted him to do, no. You can get tricky. You can get smart. You can override. Here we go. Is a lambda. This is a very good stuff. You can really should read it. Read that one, okay? Just that's the way you study. But I think maybe in JavaScript, they have the list has its own embedded JavaScript. Because it makes sense to have. Here we go. I know that. In JavaScript, you have it even nicer. Look, you can have an array. You have an array. This is a list in JavaScript. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Both of them do the same job. But this is really elegant. This is in JavaScript. You have a list. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, the list itself has the function map. You got it?
Yes.
In JavaScript. So you can take the list. The list itself has a function called map. Okay? By the way, I will show it to you in concurrency. I use it a lot, the map function. Very powerful function, the map. And the list itself take a function. It has a function map, and it takes, this is, by the way, a lambda function. It's just really a short way of writing a lambda function. It's called writing it with an arrow style. In JavaScript, you can write it this way. Like this is a function, defining a function that has one variable. It has one variable x, and is returning x power 2. In JavaScript, time 2. That's not power, time 2. Okay? So what does it really do? What does it really mean? It goes over every item in the list. That's what the map does. Go over all the items in the list, and he apply this function on it and return a new list. Got it? That's very sophisticated. So it's going over the first item 1, that's become to be the x. Takes the 1 and multiply by 2 and return it. That's why you're getting a 2 here. It goes to the next one. Goes to the 4. Multiply it by 2 and return the 8. By the way, I always forget, how do you do a power in JavaScript? Is that a head? Is that a head? I always forget.
Plus the total.
Or two star, isn't it?
Yes.
2 star would be the same things. And Python the same, isn't it? 2 star in Python too.
Yeah.
I look it up always. I always forget. This one, it will take the first one, power 1, it will be 1. It doesn't matter. 1 power 2 is 1. 4 will be 16. Now it will be 81. 16 will be 256, I think. No, 194. No, 196. 196. That's what it does. But this is another way to apply the map. You should know that there exists a function called map. It's a very powerful function. And read about it, okay? Read about it. Very important. You should really know it. So let's go back to our stuff. And what do we have here? Here, we have a list. The list we subtracted, remember, we subtracted the mean. And now we want to take every item and multiply it by itself. And in Python, the map list, you see that one? Let me take that one separately first. Okay? I use a function map, is a Python, and he expecting 2 elements. This is the list I want to apply on it. The map gonna work on that list. And this is the list we calculated here. Fair enough?
Yeah.
And what is he going to apply on this one? He's going to apply this function. And this is the way in Python you write a lambda function. In JavaScript, you could have removed that part. That's called an error definition. This is in JavaScript. That will be good. In JavaScript will work fine. But it doesn't work that way. It's part of the list itself. But in Python, this is why I never remember all that stuff, honestly. I just know it exists and I look it up all the time and then I write it and forget about it. So this is what this is going to do now. The map going to take every item in this list and apply this function. But this function, I can use any function, but lambda is classical here. Okay? I could have written another function. By the way, let's do it just for fun. Diff, dup, dup, dup. Let's call it dup. What the heck? And get it an x. Fair enough. Return x times x. Fair enough?
Yeah.
This is a function that take an x and return the duplication. Is that right? So I can use this one instead of the lambda function. I don't really have to use the lambda function. This should do it as well. That should work. You got it? But this is not elegant. Let's run it, see if it works. Okay? So you got the M, new M, and in fact, it does work. We got the print L, LS, LS, wait a minute. Yeah, let me do it this way. Fair enough. And do it this way. Okay. Let's sign it again. And it works. You see, inside, it really took every number and multiplied by itself. See, the 1 becomes to be 1. -1 times -1 is 1. You got it?
Yes.
4 times 4 is 16. -4 times -4 is 16. It does. So I could have done it this way, but this is not elegant. Usually, when the only things you want to do, you can do it more elegant by using a lambda function. And that's, you can replace it. Stupid me. Oh gosh. I really haven't proven anything because this is really just here. This one has no meaning. I should really have put it here. Is that right?
Yeah.
This is really what does the work. This one is just nothing. Let's see that this really works. It should work. Yeah, here we go. It does work. See that? It doesn't really make a difference. So I'm gonna take this one away, put it back, and you really shouldn't. This is really the objective. When you really need a small function, you're not gonna define it, and who knows where you wrote it. So this is really elegant. Got it?
Yes.
You know, another way you can really do something really, I will play with it a little bit with you as well. Lambda function is very important. So how does it work? This one is applying, but apparently the map is not really returning a list, it's returning an object. And that's called, in professional language, called casting, turning it to a list. Okay? So in Python, you take whatever the map is returning, it's not really returning exactly a list. He's applying the function on every item, and it has its own object. And then you have to turn it to be a list. And that's why you need to use the list. I had that error in the beginning, and then I looked it up. And that's why I put the word list here. Now it is a list. So we're getting a list of every item in this list is duplicated. Is that right? Multiply itself. Now I want to add them up and take the average. I'm adding all the items and take the average of it, but not really the average. Len is the length. You see that? The length of the list. But I'm subtracting 1. This really has to do with statistics. Did you explain that to him, Brenda? All right, let me explain that. That's very important. Let's say, let's leave it for some other time. Okay? For now, just remember I need to subtract 1. The reason is because I'm using the mean, but some other time I will explain that. Okay?
Okay.
This is really estimator. It's not really the standard. It's not really the true variance of this list. Okay? What we're getting in this, in here, the standard deviation, this is estimator. It's not really the standard deviation of the list. The standard deviation of the list should be done this way, without the -1. The reason I'm doing -1, we will talk about it some other time. Okay?
Doctor,
Yeah.
is it connected like maybe sample variance of?
This is the variance, yeah. We're getting the variance first. Okay?
Is asking, is it for the
Yeah,
sample
I
variance?
never really used the variance, but yeah, this is the calculation of estimator of the variance. And then I take a square root, power half, it means a square root, okay, in Python. And then I get the standard deviation. And I'm returning both of them. And then when I'm returning both of them, I printing them here, right here. So in the end, it really is here. So let's write here ST. Sorry, and here ST. Let's return, bingo. And by the way, you see the ST, we're getting 2.68, 2.6, and how much do we get here? 2.6. You see that? Like in the library, but now we know it's really the estimator. It's not, what does it really mean? I would just say it in a few words, and in the future, I will explain it more. Let's say those numbers, okay, are numbers that I collected from somewhere. Let's say it's how much I'm fishing fish. I go to the Lake Victoria in Uganda, and there's a lot of fish. I only pulled out 6 fishes. Hey, you can't say fishes. Fish, is that right? It's plural, right?
Yeah.
I pulled 6 fish out of so many of them. And I want to say, what is the average weight of the fish in Lake Victoria? I didn't take all of them, so many of them. I took only 6. So I did a calculation, and the mean came up to be 5. So on average, the fish is 5. Is that right?
Yeah.
But we know it's not really the true size. There, some fish will be bigger, some fish will be smaller. Is that right? So more or less, what is the variance of the fish in the lake? I don't really know. I didn't take all of them. So I want to estimate it. You got it? I want to estimate it. By the way, the 5, it is not really the average of the fish in Lake Victoria. This is the average of my sample. This is the average of the 6 that I took. Right? This is the average of only the fish that I fished from Lake Victoria. It's not the real true average. Maybe the average is a little different. I didn't take all the fish in the lake. Is that right? Maybe it will be 5.1. I don't know. But the one that I fished, it was 5. So I said the average probably is around 5. So what I do is, I don't know the variance of the fish in Lake Victoria either. So I'm trying to estimate it. So I say, okay, let's calculate the variance of the sample. The variance of the sample, let's do it this way. Let's do it 2 ways. This is one way, and this is another one. I call it variance, and I call it an estimator. And this one without the minus, and this with the minus, and then we'll return those 3. Okay? Fair enough?
Yeah.
Now we'll get EV here. We have really 3 numbers we should really write. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so what do we get? We get 3 numbers. We get 6.8 and we get 5.66. See, this is the variance, 6.8, it's the variance of the fish that I fish. Those 5, this is the variance of the sample. You got it? When I divide only by the length, I divide by 6 in here. Is that right?
Yes.
But if I want to estimate what is the variance of all the fish in Lake Victoria, I have to adjust it. But you have to study statistics to know why. Okay? You have to divide it by 6 minus 1. And it turned out to be a little, it always will be a little lower. So this is my estimation. What is the variance of the fish in Lake Victoria? This is the true variance of the sample. Sample, it means the fish that I pulled out of Lake Victoria. Got it? Go over
Yes.
that lecture 10 times. Listen to
Like
the,
the sample mean.
you got it?
Yeah.
Good. Now, by the way, already, now that we understood it, I want to emphasize one more point and we'll finish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because look, I think we only got the variance for the first one, P10. But
No, this
now-
is the 6.8. This is the first one. And what did I do here? That's the estimator. Yeah, you're right. That I was talking the other way around. So this is the variance of the sample. And this is the estimations of the variance of the weight of the fish in Lake Victoria. You're right. I turned it around. I was talking. You're right. Okay. Great. Now I want to emphasize one thing: how variances can mislead you. Okay. See, here I have a variance. Okay, 6.8. The estimations. But see what happened if I change this one to 5. I change this one to 5. Change this one to 5. And I change this one to 5. There's no variance. There won't be. They are all the same. You got it? See, there's no variance. 0. Because the mean is exactly all of them the same. Now, if I increase this one to 15, I increase one of the numbers by 10, I will have a jump. Is that right? Let's see the variance. There will be a variance. But still the variance, I get a variance of 16.6. You got it? I have one jump only. Now, let's take, instead of putting all the 10, the extra 10 here, say I added 10. Is that right? I'm going to do something else. I'm going to make this one 6. I'm going to make this one 4. That's already 2. I'm going to make this one 6 already, 2. Let's make that 7. Let's make that 3. So how many I got? 1, 2, 4, 6, 6, 8, and 10. Okay? Now what happened is I shuffled the numbers around with the change of 10. The total changes around the mean, it's 10. Is that right? What happened to the variance? Yep, where is it? It's 3.6. Much lower. Is that right?
Yeah.
The variance is very low. Now, let's play with it. Let's continue playing with it. Let's put that one back. So I have a variance. It's always really almost not moving at all. Is that right? Now, if I have a lot of numbers, the phenomena will turn around. When I had only one peak, when I had one big peak, the variance will amplify it big time. Instead of spreading it all over them. So the variance will be much smaller because I divide by the number of items. That's one of the biggest reasons. So if I have a peak, the variance would grow and will tell me the variance is higher. But on the other hand, although the increase, see, when I got to that, when I'm trying to teach you options really, see this one, the variance went up to 16.6, okay? These options on this kind of company would be more expensive. But the truth of the matter, the increase of it, it's not too bad. because it will, if it happened to me, I would gain 10, and 10 times 2, it's 100. So whoever is really, but that's really, we'll get to that one when we get to options and you know statistics better. And you know why this is such an important in option pricing, okay? But for now, when the numbers are close to each other, the variance is small, the standard deviation will be small. When there is a jumping, let's say, let's make this one 25, let's make that one minus 15, you'll see the variance will be big. It will be much bigger. You see that? So as the numbers change, then you have a big variance. Variance is a measure how much the numbers are different from each other. You got it? But on the other hand, when we go back to here, this is less misleading. I will make that 35. The numbers are really not that much different. Is that right?
Yes.
And if I run it, I get a 150. Now, the beautiful thing is, if you take a 6 numbers and you didn't take 35, it looks like this is very stable. Is that right? Think about it. If Lake Victoria, all the fishes are about the same, about 5 pounds, but there is a big fish. You got it? And it comes once a day. It looks like if you take the sample of 6 and the big fish wasn't in the sample, you will say there's no variance, all the fish are 5. Is that right?
Yes.
But you know he comes once a day. And you sit and wait for him. Nobody else knew because everybody takes 6 fish and he thinks that they are all the same. So they take their fish and they go home. Is that right?
Yes.
No, I'm waiting for the whole day. I know that big fish is coming. I'm waiting for him. That's what we do in options, if you're smart. You got the point? Because they're taking a sample only when it's stable. That's why I told you when you look at the option and the stock price, you're looking for stock that have jumps in them. They are more valuable. And they tell me, oh, this kind of stock, they have a fish come once a day or once a week. That's good enough for me. Other people, when they're pricing the option, they think it's only those little jumping. They didn't really realize that once in a while a big jump comes. They didn't take it into account. You got it?
Yes.
Depends on the horizon you're taking it. So usually what will happen when you look at the stock that has something like, you know, if you look at something like that, you look at a period, let's say this is a very bad period. Option prices will jump big time in this period because there was a huge jump. So the price of the option will be overpricing. So this is maybe a time you want to sell because the price of the option is really big. The variance becomes to be big. As the bigger the variance, the higher is the options price. You will learn it one day. So this is the time you want to sell options, not to buy options. This looks stable. You see, in this area, you know, when it's here, it looks like it's a little jumpy, but not that much. The option prices will be a little lower. This is the time you might want to buy. You can get 2 positions sometimes if you know something about a company to buy or sell. So should I buy or should I sell? Depend on the period. See, in this period, if I look at the period when I'm on the top of the hill, and the top of the hill, maybe people who are pricing the options not really too high. If I sell it, and then there is a big jump, I'm lucky. You got it? I will sell, in fact, the one that has when everybody thinks it's going to go up. So if I were in the top of that hill right here, and I sold an option to somebody that thinks it's going to go up, he would pay me a lot of money. And he's wrong because it's going to go down. So he lost a lot of money. I made a lot of money. That's why you really need to know what's going to happen, and is the period before was up or down during the period. So now when we study statistics, now you understand, people study statistics. Is that right, Brenda? You study that? You have no idea why you're studying it. Am I right? It looks so stupid to study all that stuff.
Yeah.
But really now you understand this is really mean money.
Yes.
It just happened in the last 10, 15 years when people realize how important statistics in life. That's why jobs or salaries of statisticians went up in the last 10 years, big time. I have a friend who was studying economics and accounting. I told him, drop the economics, go and study statistics and accounting. So his salary is double than he could have got if he had only accounting and economics. Accounting and statistics is much more valuable. Now you, Brenda, studied accounting now. You are a statistician, you are an economist, and you're a computer scientist. You are much more valuable than somebody that just know economics. Now you also understand why. Because you can apply that knowledge to other things. So anyway, should I send you the code for this one again?
Doctor, before,
Let me copy it and I will send it to you in the,
still have some prayers, doctor.
can I
Dr.
send it?
Daniel has a question.
Yeah, hold a second, let me just send it to you before I forget. It took me out of the official one. You closed that group or whatever.
Michael, close it.
I send you that code, okay? Go over it 100 times. Okay, go ahead, Daniel, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yes, doctor, first go back to
Well,
the last part that you were in, that last part.
which part? This one?
Exactly. So
This
that's
part we
part,
got 3 variables.
so my question is on that part for VA underscore equal to sum. That top one,
This is a function.
the top one,
The variance
the variance.
of the sample.
Yeah, this is the sample. This is useless. In fact, I should use EVA. Yeah, that would be, let's make more sense. Depend what do I want. You got it? Depend what do I want. You got it? That will be the standard deviations of the population now. That I should call it EST.
Doctor,
Yeah.
Daniel is asking where you have the variance underscore.
Like, is that the variance or the?
This
mean?
one is the variance of the sample. That's the definition of the variance. If I ask you what the variance of those 6 numbers, this is the way you calculate it. If I ask you, you took that 6 numbers from somewhere else, I just gave an example. Fish from Lake Victoria, and you took the weight in pound, okay? What is your estimation of the variance of the fish in the lake? That's the equation. And you have to study statistics to know why this is a good estimator. A good estimator is the one that on average is correct, but that's really belongs to class in statistics. As we go and we continue in the future, we
So
talk.
doctor,
Yeah.
one more thing. Because what is confusing me is that I thought that would be the mean, then the variance would square it.
No, we took every item, we subtracted the mean first. After we subtracted the mean in the list, we got a new list. That list, each item in the list, we're squaring. So that's what we got here. And then what do we do is that we take an average of it, or we take the average, but not divide by the number of items, which is 6, but divide by 5. Depend what do I want to get. If I want to get the regular variance, I divide by 6. if I want the estimator, what do I think the variance of the fish in the lake? If I took all the lake in the Lake Victoria and calculated the variance, I'll get a number. Is that right? I don't know it, I'm not going to do it. So I'm trying to estimate it. And I take the variance of the list, but instead of dividing by 6, I divide by 5. It happened to be a better number to estimate a big population I took it from. But you need to buy a new book. There's a lot of books online free probably. If I were you, Daniel, I'll go here, and a basic statistic book. And what do we like? Free. Bingo. There's millions of them, most likely. Here we go. You got a lot of them. Here you have even PDF. Here, this is beautiful. Here we go. What is that? You have a lot of them, probably. I don't know. PDF. Let's see. Here we go. You got a book. You got it? Start reading. Free. Don't buy. You don't need to buy. There's so many books. By the way, Pearson is a very well-known statistician, mathematician and statistician. He came number 1 in the exam, in Cambridge exam. Pearson is a well-known statistician. So you read and study, and that's a very important thing for you. You got it? You want me to send you the link for it?
Yeah.
$5. Start reading. You should study statistics. By the way, you can take this book and make a course teaching the book. You got it? That's pretty cool. You can steal the book and put it in Academy City, like as if we wrote it. Who cares? It's all for free. You want to give those courses for free. You want them to know you, that you have organized the course. You probably know statistics. They want to hire you as a statistician, not as a teacher. Teaching is only a step in our progress. Like I'm not teaching anymore, almost the new student. Am I right? I'm only teaching you. Tomorrow you will be instead of me. You got it? And somebody else will teach. But you'll become to be a consultant. So I can spend my time doing options. And you will help me. And then we give building programs for other people. That's evolution. There will be a happy family. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yes, it does.
Okay, I think this is good. And give it to